Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. Sorry, a little bit late on the show today, and because of that, we do not have Coach Holt. So I did leave the link to the show in the chat there, so if you want to come on in and hop on in, I will be by myself today, so I would love to talk to you. And I'll tell you another thing that I love is I love Dodgers baseball, and I love it when they win, even when they're not hitting. So no doubt, again, another slow start for the Dodgers. You cannot deny that fact. And then also, just an offense that's not clicking on all cylinders. Going to say that straight up right off the top of the show. And I'm also going to say I've got about 35 to 40 minutes here, and then the beautiful bride of mine of 26 years, we are going to go eat some hamburgers at our local establishment called Tucker's, which makes absolutely awesome hamburgers. And there's probably a good chance we're going to get a blizzard at Dairy Queen afterwards. So that's my beautiful evening with my beautiful bride tonight. So got a little bit of time here. Wanted to jump in because I have a lot of thoughts on last night's game. I have a lot of thoughts on the Dodgers at this point, who, by the way, have won 4 out of 5 games. And I'll say this. The Cleveland Guardians, they do what they do, okay? It's the exact opposite of the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they want to grind pitch counts. They want to have a massive amount of plate discipline. And sometimes I think that can be frustrating for fans because it looks like you're taking a whole lot of pitches. I think sometimes it leads to slow starts maybe. But then again, here you have the Cleveland Guardians who swing at a lot. They're very, very aggressive. And to be honest with you, in today's day and age, with all the data and all the information that's available, to me, it's too easy to game plan what the Guardians do. And then also, on top of that, with all the dirty stuff that these pitchers nowadays have, it's just so easy to throw to locations and give those strike-to-ball concepts, make everything look like a strike, tunnel everything off of strike pitches. Like, for instance, if you throw your fastball for a strike, of which Shohei Ohtani threw almost 60% last night, and then you tumble something off that same tunnel for a ball. For teams that are as aggressive as the Guardians, they just are going to have very little chance at not chasing. And whenever you go chase a Roki Sasaki or when you go chase a Shohei Ohtani, you're just not going to have any success. So I'll say this. I think this is just a really bad matchup. I know they've won 1 out of 2 games. But in terms of hitting a Shohei Ohtani or a Roki Sasaki, guys that can tumble it with the splitters, guys that can turn it, we saw with the cutter with Roki Sasaki. The sweeper last night was a really nice pitch, both for a strike and really more so on the outer half of the plate to the glove side for Shohei Ohtani to get swing and miss. He could use it both ways. Same with his curveball. He could throw his curveball for strikes and turn it. But more so, you're going to get chased because that's kind of what the Cleveland Guardians do, is that they get very aggressive. For instance, last night, Shohei Ohtani was under 60% as far as end zone with the fastball. But then by the end of it, he averaged, close to 70% strikes with the pitch because there was a 27% chase rate there with a fastball, right? Okay, so 27% chase rate with the curveball. Let me take that back. 63% strikes overall. So when you look at it as curveball, almost 50% strikes, 27% chase rate on the curveball. So the curveball was allowed to be not just a swing and miss pitch. It was also allowed to be a strike pitch. And those 2 pitches alone, if you're going to chase the curveball, you're going to have a hard time catching up with a fastball sat 96 last night, touched upwards to 98 miles an hour. If you're going to chase the curveball, then what that allows him to do is kind of what we talked about with Roki Sasaki. It allows him just to kind of let that sweeper and let that splitter just let it eat. I mean, he doesn't have to throw it for strikes at that point because he knows, A, he has the margin for error because he's already gathered enough strikes with his fastball and with his curveball to where he has the margin for error to where even if the Guardians don't chase, he still is ahead in the count, or at least he's in a neutral count at that point. But then again, whenever you take that and you put it on steroids and then you chase on top of that the splitter and the sweeper like we saw on several different occasions last night, it's just absolutely curtains. So really the only chance you have is to be super disciplined against Shohei Ohtani, know which pitches are hittable, ambush the pitches that are hittable, the hanging curveballs, the fastballs that are thrown in parts of the zone that you can hit, and then don't chase from beyond that. Hey, as I always say, the further away you get from coaching or playing this game, the easier this game seems to play. So here I am, a fat old man with no hair on top of my head, sitting behind a microphone saying, hey, all you have to do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for you to have a chance, that's how you would defeat Shohei Ohtani. And by design, the way the Guardians are set up, as aggressively as they are set up as an offensive team, it's just not a good matchup for them. Now, tonight may go a whole different way. Their aggressiveness may work out for them because it's baseball, and that's just kind of how things work. But, hey, Shohei Ohtani, super, super, super impressive last night. And then also the offense, okay? Sluggish start, slow start. Again, hey, 4 runs. I'll say this, a couple of things. This is on the glass half full positive side. Thank you for joining, Craig. Ohtani was great with his pitches and control. Best he has looked. Ohtani is very intelligent. It goes with the pitches that are working. Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, fastball, curveball, fastball, curveball, fastball, curveball. Get a bunch of strikes, get chased with the curveball, and then put away with the splitter, put away with the sweeper. That was the combination last night for Ohtani. So, the offense. Let me say this. In playoff games, this kind of reminds me of playoff games. Craig brought it up, or not Craig, but Chuck brought it up yesterday when we were talking, that you're seeing the best shot of all these pitchers early on. You're seeing the best bullpen arms. We're not quite to that second time around, or we're certainly not to that third time around. So it kind of has that feel like you're having to score in ways that you would score in playoff games, facing the best pitching. So if there is a silver lining to this, this is going to show that the Dodgers have the ability to gather enough hits, get timely hitting, have great pitching, and great defense. Great play last night by Mookie Betts. And I'll say this about Andy Pages. The play that he made the basket catch on, about a quarter of the way through last year, we saw him get completely turned around on that same ball last year. And what he did last year, and we mentioned it at the time, you can go back to that show. I don't remember what exact date that was. But the one thing that we mentioned is the hardest thing to learn as a center fielder is when that ball's hit directly at you and over your head, like that one last night was, like the one last year that turned him around. What you have to do is you have to turn your back to the ball. You lose sight of the ball for a second. You have to run to your spot and turn around. That takes a lot of trust. That's very scary because the ball is not in your eyesight for a few seconds. And although, hey, Andy Pages, he missed a little bit. He overran it just a touch, which is why he had to basket catch the ball. But for him, of all the things he's done defensively, I've said the whole time, the left and right's going to take care of itself. Coming in on balls is going to take care of itself. It's that one hit right at him that's going to be hard for him because he's not going to get enough balls in game or even off live bats in batting practice to really get great at it as far as a batted ball in game off the bat. Hey, you got to go make this play. So last night was maybe the biggest eureka moment for me defensively. I know that sounds weird because he made the great play with Kike last year. He was a great defender down the stretch. He's made some great plays going right and left and coming in. But that play completes the circuit for me, even though he overran it just a touch, because that tells me he has worked so hard on his defense. He has done such a good job that he now trusts himself to turn around, run to the spot, get to where he thinks the ball is going, turn back around, find the ball again, and catch it. Was it goofy looking with a basket catch? Of course. But if you don't turn around and you don't lose that ball and you try to keep your eye on the ball the whole time like you did last year, you don't catch it. So lots and lots and lots of growth from Andy Pages with that catch. So, if anything, what this shows with the Dodgers right now is that they're capable of pitching, playing great defense, and getting timely hitting. I'm not exactly sure what happened right there. Let me rejoin this meeting. And if you want to join again, the link is in the the chat. So I just rejoined there. If you want to hop in, come on in. So pitching, defense, timely hitting, that is a formula that wins games. It always has. And hey, I get it. I know the home runs win games, but so does that style of baseball, specifically in the playoff type scenarios, specifically in close games. And I also say this about the offense. While it didn't score a whole lot, it's a little bit sluggish. And as Craig is saying here, it is definitely a work in progress. The base hit by Will Smith up the middle was on a cutter away, and he took the cutter away up the middle. The base hit by Teo Hernandez, both of them. How about this for Teo Hernandez? He got on top of a high pitch, and he spiked it into center, okay? The hit to right field for Andy Pages was a slider on the outer half, and he went with the pitch and hit the ball the other way, okay? Teo Hernandez, the ball that he hit to left field was up and in. Andy Pages, the ball that he hit that was hit to left field was up and in. The home run from Max Muncy was left on left, which is something that hasn't been easy for Max Muncy in the last couple of years. So while the overall numbers of just scoring 4 runs doesn't look fantastic, the execution inside of the ways that the Dodgers did score the 4 runs was fantastic. So it's all a matter of how you want to look at this. Do you want to look at this like there's not enough rallies like that, there's not enough home runs, there's not enough runs overall? Or do you want to look at it like, hey, you're seeing great pitching early in the year, the Dodgers are being forced to execute enough to win games, and they're doing it, and by the way, 4 to 5 to 6 times last night, the execution wasn't good. It was fantastic on the left-on-left home run for Max Muncy, who, by the way, destroyed that ball. On the base hit up the middle by Will Smith on the cutter away. On the hit to right field by Andy Pages on the slider away. On the hit up the middle by Teo Hernandez as he got to a ball up in the zone on both hits to left field by Teo and Andy Pages that were both, by the way, inside and up in the zone. That execution wasn't good. That execution wasn't great. So the Dodgers executed just well enough to have timely hitting, executed the game of baseball situationally, offensively enough to score enough runs. Then they got great pitching and great defense from Andy Pages, from Mookie Betts, no errors on the board. So I'm going to say it again. For everybody that says, well, the Dodgers aren't hitting, you're not wrong. But what they are doing is showing that they're a team that can win games in a myriad of different ways. And the greatest teams, the teams that actually win championships, are way more than one-dimensional. They can win games in a pitching duel. They can win games in a slugfest. They can win games in a game like last night to where you just need a couple of rallies and one big long ball to where you go with the pitch, you hit the ball the other way, you hit the ball up the middle, you pull the ball when you're supposed to, you execute a couple of different innings, and you win because of that, and then you close the door in the bullpen with Alex Vesia, Jack Dreyer, and Edwin Diaz. Not worried about the Edwin Diaz thing, giving up the run. It had been raining. I've been in those situations to where, again, hey, Tyler Glasnow, we kind of got on him kind of hard last year because he didn't deal with the rain very well. I'm just going to say with all the things that went wrong last night, weather-wise, Edwin Diaz, the walks, this or that, he wasn't sharp. Still only gave up 1 run. And he had cushion, okay? So I'm just going to chalk that one up to weird circumstances, not anything to evaluate, not anything to look at, and just move on to the next day. The Dodgers win. That's how I'm going to view the Edwin Diaz outing last night. So Shohei Ohtani, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Ohtani retired the first 4 hitters and 10 of his last 13. So he was strong even until Dave took him out. 6-pitch mix, heavy fastball, curveball, and then beyond that, because those pitches were such good strike pitches, the splitter and the sweeper were really kind of, hey, here, we're going to get you out with this type pitch. And so he had a lot of freedom with those pitches. And Alex Vesia, yet to give up a run in his 3 outings so far with Los Angeles. And then how about this? He gave up just 1 run in 8 innings of spring training. So combined for Alex Vesia, the ERA on the year to start the year is 0.81. Try that on for size. 0.81 for Alex Vesia on the year, combined ERA between spring training and the 3 appearances he's had in the regular season. Jack Dreyer, great job. Maytag has yet to allow a run in his 2 2/3 innings so far this year. And by the way, Jack Dreyer, not only has he not given up a run in those 2 2/3 innings, just 1 hit, just 1 walk so far for Jack Dreyer. So the Maytag has been absolutely fantastic. Mookie's play late at shortstop, bouncing the ball to Freddie, was outstanding. Doesn't make that play last year. He jumps and throws. Totally agree. Mookie Betts looks great. The offense, let's hope it comes around. He's under 200. He was kind of one of those guys that I thought was in the basket of needs to get off to a good start just because offensively, because just kind of flip the narrative on last year, like, hey, last year was a one-off. This year we're going to get right back to being Mookie Betts. He has not done that yet, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see if it kind of creates an unnatural press as he moves forward. I don't think so. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. But still, Hall of Famers have high expectations, so the offensive year didn't go the way he wanted to last year, not getting off to the start that he wanted to this year. We'll see if that creates an unnatural press and how that goes. Hey, Craig says Padres beat the Giants. Yeah, good. I don't like the Padres, but I hate the Giants, and especially now that their manager is Tony Vitello. I would root, I think, for the Russians during the Cold War versus rooting for the Giants and Tony Vitello at this point. Yeah, the Maytag, mi rojo, no doubt about that. So the Maytag, how about this? Scoreless in his last 5 of 6 outings last year, okay? And 13 of his last 15 outings for Jack Dreyer last year, scoreless, okay? In that span, Jack Dreyer, he's given up just 4 runs and 9 hits and has an ERA of 2.22 when you combine his last 13 of 15 outings last year plus the 2 2/3 innings this year, little over a 2 ERA. Boy, how good has Jack Dreyer been? No doubt about it. And again, like we said, Evan Diaz wasn't sharp. A million different reasons you can give that. And so from that perspective, I just think last night, to me, you know, Coach Holt and I talk about this. We're baseball purists. And I know Dodgers fans, it feels like this roster was built to score 10 runs a game. That was why you go get Kyle Tucker. That's why you have a Shohei Ohtani. I mean, you got possibly 4. If Will Smith, how long is Will Smith going to be, if not the best catcher in the game, one of the best catchers in the game? And then on top of that, how long do you have to be one of, if not the best catchers in the game before you become Hall of Fame quality, right? I mean, am I talking out my ears right here about Will Smith 5 or 6 years from now, or maybe even sooner than that? I mean, how long do you have to be the best catcher in the game or one of the best catchers in the game before you start talking like that, right? So, you know, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, possibly Kyle Tucker, who knows? But definitely a 30-year lineup is Hall of Fame. You go and you get by far the best offensive player on the market last year, one of the best offensive players in the game, one of the best fits offensively from a profile perspective in the game in Max Muncy, Teo Hernandez, a very, very good offensive player. Andy Pages is having a good bounce back, no doubt about that. So this feels like it's an offense that was built to score like 10 runs a game. So there is a certain section of Dodgers fans that are disappointed that this offense isn't scoring 10 runs a game. It doesn't look right yet. And then also when you stack on top of that, the offense was anywhere from sporadic and inconsistent to just not good from about May on last year. Then there's some fans that are like, dadgummit, are we going to have to deal with this again? Because when your offense isn't clicking like that, then you have to do what the Dodgers did last night, and you have to win games in the more traditional and conventional ways. I'm good with that. Matter of fact, I think it's better for the Dodgers throughout a regular season to have to win games in more of a traditional and conventional way because, again, I think those styles of wins, that style of baseball, is the style of winning in the playoffs. Starting with, you can evaluate anything that you want about playoff baseball. And I know we're 5 games in, I'm already talking about it. Sorry, I'm probably going to do that all year because my standard for the Dodgers isn't making the playoffs. I'm just assuming they're going to do that. My standard, obviously, is winning a World Series. The number one thing, pitching. Pitching is the number one thing in baseball that removes all the variables, all of the nerve-wracking things that can go either way that you don't really have control over. Pitching is what eliminates all of those. So as long as the Dodgers are pitching the ball well, they don't even have Blake Snell back. Emmett Sheehan had a rough outing. We'll see how he goes. Roki Sasaki was better. So as long as the Dodgers are pitching the ball well and the bullpen is holding up, I've got no worries because I think the offense is going to be good enough. And I think winning, again, traditional style ways of winning is good for this team. Yes, the Maytag was very good last night. So this is why, yes, the kind of the vibe to the offseason is, well, the Dodgers are building the greatest offense in baseball. This is also why you go get Yoshinobu Yamamoto. This is why you go get Tyler Glasnow. This is why you go get Shohei Ohtani. This is why you go get Blake Snell. Because the Dodgers didn't build a, hey, we need to score 10 runs a game roster to win. They built a roster that it should be awesome with everything. This should be a good enough defense, especially if Andy Paez continues to play good defense in center field, especially if Mookie Betts plays a really good shortstop. You get Tommy Edman back at second base. Literally, you have 4 players on your infield, if you count the catching position, that are Gold Glove caliber. Will Smith and his arm is Gold Glove caliber. Framing pitches, yeah, well, that's here and there. But Will Smith is a good defensive catcher when you add into the fact that he throws the ball down to second base. But definitely. So if you want to balk on that, Mookie Betts, Tommy Edman, Freddie Freeman, 3 out of the 4 guys on your infield are Gold Glove possibilities. If not that, possibilities would suggest this year. If not that, certainly Gold Glove caliber type guys, right? Teo Hernandez, better in left field. Andy Paez, massively improved in center field. Kyle Tucker, big upgrade to Michael Conforto, in my opinion. So the defense should be good. Pitching should be dominant. Offense, over the long haul, should be dominant as well. But good to see that they're able to execute the couple of times that they needed to last night and taking a pitch the other way, getting on top of the baseball, going left on left for a home run, pulling the ball when you're supposed to on pitches inside. So could not be more excited. And also, before we get to our Down on the Farm, which we're going to do here in just a second, we're going to cover Kyle Tucker. We're going to cover all the guys down on the farm. Hae-Sung Kim, by the way, had a rough day, 3 strikeouts. That's kind of the monitor there. Don't want to be negative about him because he did go 5 for 5 the other day. But the monitor for him is, can he reduce the strikeout rate? It's around 27% right now. But by the way, to finish our talk on the Los Angeles Dodgers, right? 4 out of 5 games they've won. If you win 80% of your games, okay, that tells me you're going to lose 32 games, okay? You're going to be 130-32. I'm going to say this one more time. The Dodgers are on pace to be 130-32, okay? Wow. And by the way, that's on top of all the hoopla of the offseason of being a World Series champion, having a parade. By the way, this goes very underrated. By going to a Game 7 of the World Series, having a shorter offseason of something of which the Dodgers have been doing for a decade now, having a little bit older roster, of which they definitely do, okay? And then the ring ceremony, all the hoopla of this, all the hoopla of that, anything but a regular start to the season. Throw all that into the equation, and the Dodgers are still on pace to go 130-32, okay? For anybody to complain about anything about this Dodgers offense right now, not saying on a specific short window you're necessarily wrong, okay? But I will say that it is such a nitpick to say we're winning 80% of our games. Our pitching has been really good. Defense has been good. Offense executed well in the couple of times they needed to score some runs. So good, great pitching, great defense, timely hitting. Okay. To really be negative at all towards anything with the Dodgers. Now, realistic, yes. Hey, need to hit the ball better, yes. Not saying that. But to have an overall theme of anything negative is certainly an overreaching nitpick, in my opinion. So maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe you disagree. But that's just how I feel about that. Yeah, player, thank you so much for joining. Happy Wednesday. The game is starting soon. Yes. And we're going to get now to our Down on the Farm segment. If I can get to the videos, give me just a second right here. And this is Kyle Hurt. Kyle Hurt threw his second outing last night for AAA Oklahoma City, and he was really good. Just one inning, no hits, no runs, one strikeout, and no walks. It was raining by the time he came in Las Vegas, believe it or not. Well, you live in L.A., you would believe it. So just like we saw with the Edwin Diaz outing, execution was not easy, but Kyle Hurt got the job done, and he's now gone scoreless in both of his outings. So, hey, for Kyle Hurt, obviously it's a disappointment not to be on the opening day roster for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, I'm not going to hide from that fact. I think I would be not honest if I was saying he was fired up about being in AAA. That part of it is what it is. But what the big man's got to do is just what he's doing right now. It's cliche. It absolutely is cliche. But control what you can control. Take care of what you can take care of. Take care of your business, and things will work out for Kyle Hurt. So good to see the big man. I think his fastball sat, well, I don't think. His fastball sat a little bit over 96 miles an hour, and as you just saw there just a second ago, his slider was good, and it also tunneled off his fastball. You just saw back-to-back fastball slider pitches to that low and away corner that tunneled off each other. Then he came up and in on righties that we saw twice there. So that down and away, up and in, and then the down and away tunneled that slider, and that was a pretty good combo for him. And this is somebody that you might not even know is in the Dodgers organization. This is Logan Allen. Really bumpy way to get to the 3 2/3 innings. 6 hits, but he only gave up 1 run. So really, in the end, hey, the goal is don't give up runs, right? So even though there was 4 walks for Logan Allen in 3 2/3 innings, 2 strikeouts, only 1 run in 3 2/3 innings, Logan's a 28-year-old. So it feels like he's like 35. And that's because he was drafted in the 2015 draft out of the IMG Academy. So he was drafted straight out of high school. So although he's been in pro ball for over a decade now, still only 28 years old. So to kind of give you a reference to that, Ryan Ward, 28 years old. I believe Landon Knox, 27 or 28 years old. That's the type of age range we are here with Logan Allen. So there's still a lot of growth left. There's still a lot in the tank here for Logan Allen. And so he came to the Dodgers this last offseason on a minor league. He became a minor league free agent, after 6 years of minor league baseball. You get to become a free agent. Then whatever contract you sign, you become a free agent once that contract's up. So quad A depth, this I have not seen since 2015 when the Dodgers came to Oklahoma City with their AAA team. I have not seen this amount of quad A depth. And when I say quad A, I mean guys that have major league experience but are on a minor league contract. I have not seen this much quad A depth that I have seen that is on this year's team as far as the guys on a minor league contract that have major league experience. Logan Allen being the latest one that we've covered here. And let's cover Hyesung Kim. Hey, I don't want to be negative here, and I think you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there know that I am anything but negative. And I don't like to cover a whole lot of failure. I like to cover failure in a way that is kind of surrounded and sandwiched by successes, right? Okay, and if I can get to, I don't think I actually have the video of Hyesung Kim, but as we keep it there, mentioned just a minute ago, we're going to keep this video on Logan Allen because I do not have the video for Hyesung Kim. So Hyesung Kim did last night, struck out 3 times. Monitor the strikeout percentage. It's right at 27% right now. So he needs to drop that down, in my opinion, to be the type of player that we all want him to be as effective to use the speed as he possibly can, as much as he possibly can. I think that strikeout rate needs to come all the way down to about 20%. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. So we'll keep checking in on Hyesung Kim. Don't make too much out of one game. He did have 5 hits the other day and went 5 for 5. And another guy who, hey, there's Ryan Fitzgerald, super hot right now. How about Zach Earhart? Last night, of course, he went 0 for today, but last night he had 4 hits, 2 RBIs, scored twice, and Zach Earhart coming in today was hitting .556. I think he's hitting about .356 after today's 0 for in today's afternoon game with AAA Oklahoma City. After last night, his OPS was .1267. Obvious a short sample size, but what James Tibbs is doing with AAA Oklahoma City as well. Dustin May is not even with the Red Sox anymore. And by the way, Dustin May had a .540 ERA with Boston, okay, and the ERA's over 13 so far in his first outing with the Cardinals. So when you look, I mean, Dustin May just has not been good in any stretch of the imagination since the Dodgers traded him away for Earhart and Tibbs, and Earhart and Tibbs are tearing it up. That Tibbs and Earhart for Dustin May, who was a rental, okay, is looking like one of the best trades out of all these great trades the Dodgers have made. That one there is starting to look like one of the best ones out of the entire bunch. So Zach Earhart, we'll get to James Tibbs here in a minute, but Zach Earhart, just the ball player, as I talk all the time, having a great year so far. And you talk about a guy who had a great night last night. How about that? Nick Senzel. So how about the hit up the middle right here? Super, super good job of executing. That's what we were talking about with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You don't always have to slug. That's Ryan Fitzgerald right there, not James Outman, believe it or not. Executing. Hey, put the ball in play so you get a base hit up the middle. It's amazing how the baseball gods work. You get rewarded with a grand slam, okay? So Nick Senzel, 2 base hits up the middle and a grand slam. And hey, as a baseball purist, I've seen a home run hit before, okay? Grand slams are cool. They're awesome. That one right there, the one the other way, that hit, that's the hit that impressed me the most because it just shows a totally pro approach. After you hit a grand slam and you already have 2 hits on the night, it's really, really, really easy to say, you know what? I'm going to have my own at bat here. I'm going to put a bat together for me, and I'm going to try to hit another home run. That would be very easy to do. But you can tell Nick Senzel's like, I need to gather as many hits as I possibly can because I'm fighting for a job with Los Angeles. So that base hit to go the other way after the grand slam, to me, now I'm sure a lot of people disagree, but that was his most impressive hit on the night. But again, 3 hits, a grand slam, 7 RBIs for Nick Senzel. How about that? What an incredible night for him. And James Tibbs III, if I can get to his video from last night. Sunday, he had the 2 home runs. I talked about the one to dead center on his first at bat was super impressive. Here's another one. Wow. James Tibbs III last night had another home run, and he had another double and another incredibly great game. Now, the double, you're going to see here in a minute, he kind of popped it up to left field. Look at that. I mean, it looks effortless, right? He doesn't look like he's trying. And as far as that ball went, and with as little effort he put into, this is the one he was really fortunate on. Watch this. Left fielder, whoop, that gummit, missed it, overran it, and he actually ended up with a double on that. After last night's game, James Tibbs, 556 OPS, 1,989. After 4 games, I'm sure it happens quite a bit, and I'm just not aware of it. I don't think I've ever seen an OPS of 1989 after 4 games. That's a number I'm not sure that I've ever seen. I'm sure I have, but man, James Tibbs III, he could not be getting off to more of an impressive start than he is getting off to right now. And then another guy who has really gotten off to a great start. How about Ryan Fitzgerald? Actually, let's get to his 4 hits last night right here. Wow. The not James Outman guy, right? Hey, hit it on the ground. He's playing a really, really nice third base. Ryan Fitzgerald is as well. So good to see Ryan Fitzgerald playing a good third base. And then he's really hitting the ball. He hit the ball up the middle. He pulled the ball the other day. Look, that one's right back into the opposite field gap. This is a guy that's staying on the ball. This is a guy that you can tell he loves the culture of the Dodgers. And something has unlocked to this point, Ryan Fitzgerald. He has a hit to the opposite field gap, a hit up the middle. Now we see a hit oppo, staying inside the ball, letting the ball get deep, reading spin, not trying to do too much, playing winning offensive baseball. See how deep you let that ball get? Now we can get to the pull ball that's down and in that lefties love, right? So went around the world. Hey, he pulled a ball, he hit a ball up the middle, he hit one the opposite field gap, and he hit one the other way. So again, results, 4 hits, absolutely awesome. Process of the way he got there by hitting the ball where it was pitched, like we talked about with the rally that the couple of rallies the Dodgers had last night, okay? Hit the ball where it was pitched, and he used the entire field. So it's not just the results, it's the process in which that he got to those results that was probably more impressive than the results themselves, right? So very, very good job last night of really staying locked in and doing a great job. And then Eliezer Hernandez, this is him right here. Nope, wrong Eliezer Hernandez. Excuse me, not Eliezer Hernandez. My fault. There are so many of these quad A guys that I don't know a whole lot about. I apologize for that mistake there. Eliezer Alfonso, I don't think I don't think that it actually has translated over yet. No, I do not have his file in here. Let's see if I can go over here and put this on the screen, and we can get a good look at Eliezer Alfonso, and then let's look at him, and let's see if that's on the screen right there. It is not, so I may not be able to do that. We may not be able to see that, but okay, so, and not on the screen, Eliezer Alfonso was the catcher last night. He had, Eliezer Alfonso did last night a really, really nice game. He had 2 hits, which means between him and Sebi Zavala, they have 5 hits in the last 2 games, including a couple of home runs. And I'll tell you what, if you can get any kind of offensive production from the quad A catchers between Eliezer Alfonso and Sebi Zavala, nonetheless, the type of offensive performances they've given you to this point, boy, that is going to be absolutely fantastic. So that is our Down on the Farm segment. I have not been able to monitor the chat while I have been doing this Down on the Farm, so I'm going to get back into the chat here. We're going to chat for just a minute, and then we are going to get out of here, and the wife and I are going to go eat some hamburgers and go have a good time on a Wednesday night. This is my one night where I get to spend with my beautiful bride, and I am so excited about it. Shelly Lawrence, we are 5 games into a very long season. It's only April 1. We all need to take a deep breath. Yes, absolutely. Hey, what's up, baseball fans? It's Sammy Boy Smith. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, Outman was with the Twins. And as a matter of fact, Fitzgerald and Outman were together, and they took a picture sitting next to each other. It's amazing how much they look alike. Lineup out with Freeland batting ninth. You'll be super excited to see if Alex Freeland can continue the momentum from the last time he was in the lineup. So, hey, that's going to do it for me. Nice little short, tidy show. Sorry it's short. This is the amount of time I have this time of year. Whenever things slow down here in about a couple of weeks, we'll have time for longer shows and we'll get into deeper conversations. As Shelley mentioned just a minute ago, as there's bigger sample sizes and there's more trends and data and stuff to chew on and things that we can actually kind of give an educated take on at that point. But for now, nice and tidy. Thank you so much for having your notifications on. I know, typically speaking, I go at lunchtime. Wasn't able to do that today. Had a lot of things that I wanted to talk about, so got in a show here when I had a chance. So thank you for having your notifications on. Keep them on because I can't guarantee you I'm going to go on at the same time every day. Austin might pop on whenever he wants. Keep your notifications on. When you get a notification, come hop in like you did today. So thank you so much for tuning in. You wonderful Dodgers dogs are the absolute best out there, no doubt about it. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.